Hello and welcome to the News Update on Enterprise TV. I'm Chioma Okohia. The much-awaited nationwide day of survivor protests began in Nigeria on Tuesday as the nation marked its Independence Day. In Abuja, the nation's capital, police officers fired tear gas at protesters at Utako Market. The protesters had gathered at the busy market in the morning to deliberate on the day's proceedings when they were met with tear gas fumes from the police. In Lagos, Enterprise TV News crew monitored the protest at Ojota and captured the moment. Henry Igwebike was there and now joins me in the studio. Good afternoon, Henry.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm great, and you?
Great.
And so tell us, how was the atmosphere like when you stepped out to the protest ground at Ojota this morning?
Yeah, so as we got to the protest ground at Ojota, it was nothing different from what we saw during the #EndBadGovernance protest. The only difference actually was the fact that the numbers were little less than what it was during the #EndBadGovernance protest. But at this time also, same number of police, officers equally, that were there in their large numbers, of course, coordinated themselves awesomely well, but they did something differently. They actually proved that catch phrase that we were very used to, that police is your friend. It actually proved it. They practicalized it. It was pragmatic, actually, because the Nigerian police force at the Ojota protest ground actually distributed bottles of water and sausages, to people, soft drinks, beverages, and also, just to ensure that the people believe that they were there to protect them also. So it was a jolly good relationship between the protesters and the Nigerian police. So at some point, the protesters were even, "Hey, police, you're my friend, and all that." So it was more of a good protest, because the police were there handy to do all they were supposed to do. But differently also, I noticed that a group of young boys, I guess they were thugs, that were, hired to, of course, to counter the protest also. So they were all stationed. They all wore their hats and, saying, I think the inscription on the hat was, "We believe in Nigeria," a green, white, green. So if you weren't told, you would equally think that they were there to equally, celebrate with people and equally protest, but they were actually there to see if they could counter if there were any sort of violence there.
Why will you say they are there to counter any form of violence? Why would you say that? Because they are wearing, "We believe in Nigeria." Definitely, I don't think a thug will actually wear such and come out.
Well, it was so very obvious because at the place they stationed themselves, no other person not wearing what they were wearing could make entrance into that particular place.
Into their circle.
Yes, exactly. So it was very obvious that they were there. And particularly while I was interviewing some of the protesters, particularly the young man that was here the other time, Yes, exactly. That was here. Yes, exactly. So while I was interviewing him, those young boys, they were, because he was really, speaking about so many things that he wasn't excited about with regards to Tinubu, Sheyi Tinubu, the governor of Lagos State and all. So their ears and their eyes were just on him, So it was obvious that those young boys weren't there to protest. Neither were they there to celebrate the 64th independence of Nigeria, but they were there to do, of course, the biddings of people who hired them.
Okay, let's believe that the police actually cooperated with the citizens this time around in the spirit of the Independence Day celebration. Now, from your observation, with the police cooperating with the citizens, definitely the talks would have a way to meddle in and disrupt a lot of things. Okay, moving on from this recent development with the police and the citizens, if they are to go on the streets tomorrow, do you see such happening, judging from today's protest?
Well, the much I know, the protesters were confined to that particular venue, Jota. They went around to go around to the whole place. But of course, the protesters said they were going to continue tomorrow. Of course, I asked how that was possible, knowing that the number that were there today were very, very minute. They said, of course, they were going to continue on their protest, even if it's one or two, persons. And when I inquired why the number was was so much, small. They said, how would you expect people who are hungry to come for the protest? The protester said, in fact, he is sure that so many people, wouldn't even afford the transport to come to the spot. So they, of course, are protesting, but of course might not necessarily be physical.
Now, at this point where we are on the field, or you were on the field, you saw that the protesters were little. And on social media, you can see them come out to actually speak more. I'm going to say the protest is happening more on social media than physically. Well,
knowing the evolution in social media and the acceptance of social media, social media has come to be a voice, a conduit, via which, we can pass message, and the traction is actually very effective, if you ask me. I would say that even if people are not opportuned, maybe because of not having the necessary, logistics to make themselves available physically, they could equally do the protest on social media. But the most important thing is the fact that the message should get to the president. I want to believe international media equally were there, today. And of course, what picture would they paint? The fact that we are so supposed to be celebrating 64th birthday for the country, and there we have people crying that they can't even afford to take care of themselves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Henry Bibiki. Thank you for joining me and giving me that detailed information. Thank you. Okay, moving on. The Delta State Police Command says some suspected operators of an internet fraud academy known as Hustler's Kingdom in the Warri area of the state, where about 123 suspects were arrested, are facing trial. The Delta Police Public Relations Officer, Bright Edafi, disclosed this on Monday. Soldiers from the 3rd Battalion Nigerian Army Barracks stormed an estate in the Warri area of the state and carried out a raid, which was reportedly engaged in training cyber criminals, arresting 123 suspects who were handed over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. He disclosed that one of the suspects contacted his family member via the laptop given to him by the academy operators. Choi Sun-hwa, an 80-year-old South Korean fashion designer and fashion model, has defied age and made history as the oldest ever contestant in the Miss.
She's not a designer.
I know, I missed that, sorry. On the foreign scene, Choi Sun-hwa, an 80-year-old South Korean fashion model, has defied age and made history as the oldest ever contestant in the Miss Universe Korea competition. The octogenarian gained widespread popularity after she made it to the final of the annual Miss Universe Korea competition. The passionate fashion model, who was discovered in her 40s and has 2 children and 3 grandchildren, will compete against 31 other finalists young enough to be her granddaughters for the crown. If Choi wins the Miss Universe Korea competition, she will represent her country at the 73rd Miss Universe pageant in Mexico City on November 16 and will be the oldest contestant in history to participate in an international pageant. That's the news at this time. Thanks for watching. I'm Chioma Okohe.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.